I thought that really the difference tonight is defensively. They got 39 threes up there, but our defense was more on top of it. We were making them move a little bit, not giving them easy looks at it, a little off balance, and you're going to miss some of those. Jesse was a monster tonight inside. I think that we looked for him. I thought we did a good job of finding him, but he was all over the glass. He had 5 steals. I mean, you can't play better than that. He was different world today. He was great. We didn't play well on offense. We didn't shoot well. But if you play defense, sometimes you can overcome that. You know, there was several times there we had a chance to break it open, and we'd just make a couple bad turnovers. And the first half, we really forced them into a lot of mistakes. They were much better in the second half, but a lot of turnovers, and we just didn't capitalize on them. But the defense held up. You lose 4 in a row, it's not that easy to get your confidence back. And, you know, we made the plays that we had to coming down the stretch. And, you know, obviously you want to win this game because you want to get a little momentum. But also, you know, the team being back, Carmelo and all those guys being here was just phenomenal. The university put together a film which everybody should see. It was just fantastic. The players were unbelievable talking about the game. There was so many unbelievable insights from everybody. Josh Pace and Hack, everybody was great. And to see Hack and Jerry get their numbers. You know, Hakeem Warwick, I remember seeing him. He was unknown. People didn't know who he was. We held him off a couple times in recruiting. And finally, we made a decision. Finally, we're not going to wait for anybody else. We're going to go with Hakeem Warwick. And luckily, his mom wanted him to come here. He wanted to come here, so it all worked out. I mean, he's a great player. He's one of the great players in terms of the things he did. And there's no doubt in my mind he won the national championship for us with that block, because I think the kid would have made it. And then I don't know what would have happened in overtime. But I think he knew he had to block it because he missed 2 free throws on the other end. So, and Jerry, you know, was from a small town. People didn't know what he was, what he could do. And, you know, we knew right away the heart he had. Obviously he could shoot, but it's not that a lot of guys can shoot. He just had a heart that he's gonna find a way. He's gonna find a way. No freshman shooter has ever gone out in the first half of a national championship game and made 6 threes. I mean, just nobody did, nobody will ever again. I mean, it's unheard of against a great team. Kansas, people forget it, beating Marquette by about 40 with Dwayne Wade in the semifinals, and had a tremendous, tremendous team. But we had just come together. We played our best in the last 2 games, Texas and Kansas. We played pretty good to get there, but not our best, but we played our best in those 2 games. But it's great to see their numbers go up in the rafters. They deserve it. That whole team was a great group of people. You just can't ask for a better group. And they struggled at times. We struggled during the course of that year, but they just wouldn't let anything go the wrong way. We knew when we went to Notre Dame and then Michigan State and won those 2 road games, we knew we had a chance, but you know, I mean, the Big 12 was a great conference then, as it is today, and I think we beat 4 teams from the Big 12 to win the national championship. That's pretty hard to do, but it was just great seeing those guys back today. Questions?
Coach, after the Georgia Tech game, you talked about your team playing for pride. What did they show you today coming back from 4 losses?
Well, you always play for pride, no matter who you are, where your record is. You got to go play, and you play the next game, and you try to do the best you can to win the game. I don't think that we didn't try in any of those games. I just don't think we were good enough. Defense, good, maybe good enough. Period. Certainly our defense was not good enough. Those teams shot the lights out, which that can happen. But again, I just don't think that we're quite good enough to play and win. Well, it's not win those games. We were never in those games. I mean, if you lose those games by 5, 4, 3, 2, you can always look back and say, well, if we just were a little bit, we were never in the games. When you're never in the games, you're just not good enough, bottom line, period. Early in the year, we were bad, and then we had a stretch where we played really good, and then we just lost it when second half against Duke, Clemson, Pittsburgh. We just were never in those games. And Georgia Tech played a phenomenal game. But that happens. But they've tried. I don't think hasn't been a game we haven't tried. At the end of the day, I just don't think we're quite good enough. But that's not surprising. We knew. I came back here, promised 6 guys I'd be back to coach. Never thought of anything else. And, you can't tell 6 people you're going to coach them and not coach them. So there was never an issue, never an option not to. I'm glad that we've worked through this. I think you have to understand that I think in a normal year, we lost 5 games to people that brought in 3 to 4 players, veteran players. We went 0-5 against those people. And without the transfer portal, I think, we beat these teams. But that's reality today. And you have to, looking forward, you have to see who's coming back, and then you have to be in the transfer portal to be successful. That's what Pitt did, Miami did, obviously NC State, and they're 3 of the, 2 teams are playing for the first place, and Virginia's been 3 guys in the transfer portal as well. And that's the future, and I think everybody sees that now. And we never thought of going into the transfer portal. We brought 6 guys in. We had 4 guys coming back. So you can't go in the transfer portal and say, well, you can back up somebody. I'm really happy the way these guys played. We're looking forward to go to Greensboro and try to play good basketball down there.
Jim, you spoke a bit about having the 2003 guys back this weekend. I was wondering if there was a moment over the last 24 hours that stuck out.
The thing last night was unbelievable. I was surprised. I didn't think it would be anything that good. It was unbelievable. I think the weekend sums up with, we did this at the end. Not a fan left. Not a fan left the building. They stayed right to the end. They'd still stay if we were out there. It speaks. I think, what were we, Pete? We just 4th in the country? Or we're only 3rd in the country. Huh?
We moved up to 3rd.
Yeah, we're only 3rd. That's too bad. When we moved into the Dome, I was definitely not in favor. And I think everybody in Syracuse thought, well, how's this going to work? We're getting 9,000 a game. It's a city of 200,000 people, 400 in the county, whatever. How are you going to get? I said, well, maybe we can get 15,000. Build to that, something like that. But for the 30-plus years we've been in here, we've averaged over 22,000 probably a year. And to me, that's the biggest surprise in college athletics that I've seen, that we've been able to do that with no parking, tough winters, tough to get here. And I remember when Georgetown game was on TV, and it was just unbelievably snowing, and there were 31,000 people here. I remember walking out and looking around and saying, "How this isn't even possible. You can't even dream this stuff." And I think we've had 30,000. How many times, Pete? I think it's over 100, but we'll take 90. And to me, that's unbelievable. Speaks to our fans. And the fans here, they're not the one calling the radio show. Not one fan that was here tonight calls any radio show. The people that call the radio shows do not come to games. They don't have season tickets. The only way they come is if somebody gives them a ticket. This reflects what our fan base thinks of our program. We have not a great season. About what people thought, probably, that predict things like this, I don't. And what we're here today? 24,500 people. And you think that people are upset with our program? Yeah, they're upset, the ones sitting home calling. That's who's upset. Do I want to do better? Yeah, we want to do better. But the people that show up tell you whether you have support or not. Not who calls on the radio. The same 22 people call.
You had Jesse and Joe maybe play their last game here in the Dome.
Maybe.
What they said.
Maybe. Yeah. Who knows?
But what they meant to this program, especially showing that today.
Joe's been great for 4 years. He's played his heart out every game he's played here. Ups and downs like every normal player has, but he's got a big heart. He wants to win. He's a winner. And Jesse got better. I remember talking to his parents and saying, this first year or two is going to be difficult. And we know that. We know that. We understand that. I wanted to redshirt him 1 year. We got a year back, luckily anyway, but he's gotten better. I don't think he scratched the surface of what he can be. I really don't. I think he made a jump last year, but made a bigger jump this year, but he's capable of even more. But they're great players.
Just talking about Jesse again, have you remembered a senior day, this dominant of a performance on a senior day that Jesse had today?
That was pretty good. I can't off the top of my head think of one. That was pretty. I don't think there's ever been a better one. That was pretty good.
Joe, what do you think of playing Wake again in the ACC?
You just got to go play who you play. You got no choice.
Coach, on the note of seniors, have you talked to John Boeheim about transferring, and how did that go?
I have not talked to John about that. He is going to do what he feels is best for him. He's a great kid. He comes to practice every day. He helps guys get better. We tried. He wanted to go before we couldn't find a good play. He couldn't find a place, that he liked. So we'll see if we can help him find a place that he's gotten better. He's gotten better. He can play someplace.
What do you think led to so many forced turnovers?
We were active on defense and did some stuff. We made a few careless ones, probably, I guess you could say. Chris saved one over there. They should have gotten the ball, and he was tough, hung in there and got it to Joe, and Joe got it to Malik. That was kind of a finishing type play. But our defense was active. We were hands moving. Jesse made great plays. People have been going to high post. He got up there like he did early in the year and stopped some of that. He was really good, really good.
Quadir played, I think, 12 minutes in the first half.
I'm trying to get Quadir's. I just can't explain it. He is a monster in practice, and he's what's the opposite of monster? I don't know. He's the opposite. And he just doesn't do the things in the games that he doesn't. He scored 20 straight points in practice the other day against the first group, 20. And here he's tried to shoot jump shots, or he's standing. In practice he goes and rebounds and gets, he's so much better than he's shown. He does a lot of things that you don't translate to college basketball, but he does some things that will. It's just time. He needs time. Simple as that.
I'm wondering if weekends like this, when you've all this love, all your former players are back, are those the kinds of things that make it difficult to sort of step away, to say I'm done with that kind of thing?
No, that has nothing to do with it. No, this was nice. That has nothing to do with anything else. No.
Coach, what would you say are the biggest adjustments this team needs to make before ACC tournament?
Well, I think they learned something that they have to do tonight, that they were much more active on defense, much better. But we've got to be a little bit more efficient. We're trying to find somebody else to score. Chris gives us a chance. He makes shots in practice. He made 4 in a row yesterday. Coaches go off practice a little bit, and he made 4 in a row, tough threes. And today he got the shots. He's 1 for 6. We just haven't been able to find somebody in that spot.
Do you think the energy and the enthusiasm of the weekend rubbed off on your team?
I don't know. I thought before the game, when the game started, and even though there wasn't a lot of noise, obviously, usually in the beginning of the game, that we were just active. We stole the ball right away, 4, 5, 6 times. A big part of that was Jesse coming up, taking that high post away. That's where they can hurt us, but he was really good there. That was a big part of it. But it was quiet when we were playing good defense in the beginning.
How about, did the 2003 team get to interact with the 23 team at all?
I don't know. I don't think too much. I'm not sure. I don't think so.
Coach, with the 2003 team coming back, and you were talking about the fan support over the years and what the program became, does this give you more, cause you to reflect a little bit more on what this program has become?
Yeah, I don't do a lot of that. I do it today because those guys are back and because Jerry and Hakeem's number was retired. That you have to reflect on that. I just love those guys. They're great people. They really are unbelievable people. Players today aren't like that anymore, not even close, but that's the way life is. There's no Roosevelt Bowie and Louis Orrs anymore either. Those guys are gone. We got guys that want to score points and look at the box score. Different world, but these guys, I'm disappointed because I thought we were on schedule to kind of be better at the end. Duke's really too physical. We can't play with them. And then at Clemson, we have never had success at Clemson. We've had really good teams go down there and get beat 20. And, Pittsburgh's really good this year. It's the way it is, When you lose 2 or 3 like that, and then Georgia Tech comes in and starts making shots, you get discouraged if you're young, and we got a little discouraged and didn't play well. But this was a really good day for this team. We just got to go down to Greensboro and just work at our game, see what we can do. You never know. All right? Thank you.